So it's a very windy day today. I'm going to do the shadow stick method demonstrated to you. I'm on the beach here in Muscat, which is the capital of Oman on the Arabian Peninsula. I've placed a stick in the ground, which we will call a gnomon, which is the term used basically for a sundial. And you can see the shadow is clearly cast on the sand. Very, very obvious to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the tip of that shadow and with a stick, and then we're going to track the position of the shadow as it moves with the movement of the sun, and use that to find direction eventually. I'll show you how. So I've marked the tip of the stick shadow with a shorter stick, and that is the first mark. Now we will wait about 15 to 20 minutes and mark the next point. So while I'm waiting for the sun to track around, I'm going to do a quick set of push-ups and keep myself busy. Okay, that's 50. Okay, so this little plant that's creeping about is Tribulus terrestris. It's got little yellow flowers, and it's quite a nasty little plant. You can see here, there's the yellow flowers, but if I take one of the stems and I kind of pull it upside down, you take a closer look, you'll see that the little fruits are quite spiny, especially when they dry. And that gets stuck in your feet, hence the name Devil's Thorn, Tribulus terrestris. I'm pointing this out because it's right next to my little experiment with the shadow stick method, which is over here. And yeah, the stick shadow is slowly moving to the left of the marker stick I've put in. And the sun's roughly kind of west of us, maybe a little southwest, and we'll see how this all tracks and we'll find direction from there. Okay, so I'm still waiting for the shadow cast by my shadow stick to track around. I need another few minutes, so I'm going to do another set of push-ups just to keep myself healthy and fit. One, two. Okay, it's another 50. Here we go, another 50. Okay, so we've got the stick shadow moving across now. It's moved roughly 3 centimeters, maybe close on 4 centimeters. So I'm going to mark the next spot at the tip of the shadow, and we'll keep on tracking it. I've marked the second spot at the tip of the shadow, and we'll continue to follow the shadow cast by the stick or gnomon, and check in a few minutes time. But you can see now, if you draw a line through those sticks, that's pretty much going to be your east-west line, but it is a slight curve, slight curve, and technically even a straight line is a curve. But anyway, so we'll wait a bit, and then we'll test this all with our compass. Okay, so it's been 15 minutes or so. I've marked the next position on the shadow stick, and I'm going to do another set. This is my 4th set, hopefully of 50 reps. Let's see how it goes. slowing down a little bit. I'll do another set of 50, see how we go. Okay, I believe that's 250. 250 push-ups. Cool. It was 250 I've done. I'm going to do another 50 if I can make it. Still waiting. It's about 25 minutes since I started. I'm not really doing this to beat time as far as the push-ups are concerned. I'm just passing time essentially. But I'll do another 50 push-ups. Try and take it to 300. Sort of lost count there. Don't know whether I did 50 or 60. Anyway, so the shadow has tracked a little bit further. It's probably about 5 or 10 minutes later, and so I'm going to mark the third and final point in this exercise, and we'll go from there. Well, there we have it. We've got 3 points marked as the shadow of the stick has progressed. And that gives you a roughly a straight line. That line is your east-west line. I'm going to place a stick along that line. It is a slight curve, always, but it's an approximate straight line. Okay, so that's your east-west line. We know that the sun sets in the west and casts a shadow east. So we know to the left of us, it's late afternoon, is west, basically, because of that knowledge. And if that is west, then this side is south and that side is north. So if I place a stick perpendicular to that, that's your north-south line, with the arrow or the sharp point of that stick pointing in the direction of north, and the sharp point of this stick pointing in the direction of east. Now if I take my compass, base plate compass, and I kind of place it on the sand and box the arrow. I've adjusted for declination, which in this area is only 1 degree, just over 1 degree east. And you can see the arrow kind of points roughly in that direction. So there's a little bit of deviation, or a little bit of a difference in the direction it's pointing, but it's just about right in terms of pointing north, giving us a north-south line. So it's a fairly accurate method. Some times of the year it appears to be more accurate than others. I've gotten readings that have been incredibly accurate, and then other times it's less convincing. But it's a fairly good way of getting a general direction for north, or for any of the cardinal points. Yes, and that's the shadow stick method. Very, very simple. It's based on the movement of the sun. Remember, the sun rises in the east, tracks across the sky, and sets in the west. In the northern hemisphere, it's going to track across the southern part of the sky. In the southern hemisphere, it's going to track across the northern part of the sky. Reason being, the sun basically tracks along the equator, which it appears to track along the equator. Obviously, the Earth is rotating about the sun and also spinning on its axis, and that gives you the sensation that the sun's moving around us. But yeah, that's the shadow stick method. It's quite a useful way of navigating.